Terrance James Reid, better known as Terry Reid, was born on November 13, 1949, in Little Paxton, England. From a young age, Reid showed an extraordinary musical gift that would eventually earn him the nickname Superlungs for his powerful and emotive vocal range. Over the course of his life, he became one of the most respected yet underrated figures in British rock, known for his soulful singing, distinctive songwriting, and collaborations with some of the biggest names in music. Reid grew up in the small village of Bluntisham and attended St. Ivo School in nearby St. Ives. His musical journey began in his teenage years, and by the age of 15, he was performing with local bands. His big break came when drummer Peter J noticed him and invited him to join Peter J and the Jaywalkers as their lead vocalist. This opportunity led to the band opening for the Rolling Stones on their 1966 British tour, giving Reid major exposure and placing him in the orbit of rock's elite. It was during this period that Reid met Graham Nash of the Hollies, who helped the Jaywalkers secure a deal with UK Columbia Records. Though their first single made a modest impact, Reid's solo career took off shortly afterward. His debut solo album, Bang Bang, You're Terry Reid, released in 1968, included the haunting track Without Expression, which he had written at just 14. The song would later be covered by notable artists such as the Hollies, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and REO Speedwagon under various titles. Reid's soaring vocals and magnetic stage presence earned him touring spots with iconic bands like Cream, Fleetwood Mac, and Jethro Tull. Despite his rising fame, Reid made two career-defining decisions that shaped his legacy more in cult status than mainstream stardom. He declined offers to front both Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple. Jimmy Page personally invited him to join the band he was forming, which became Led Zeppelin, but Reid turned it down due to tour commitments. Instead, he recommended Robert Plant and even suggested John Bonham as a drummer. Likewise, when Ritchie Blackmore sought a new vocalist for Deep Purple, Reid passed on the opportunity. Throughout the late 1960s and early 1970s, Reid remained a prominent figure in rock music, particularly in the United States. He supported the Rolling Stones on multiple tours and even performed at Mick and Bianca Jagger's wedding in 1971. During this time, he released albums like Terry Reid, 1969, and River, 1973, the latter produced with help from the legendary Ahmet Ertegun at Atlantic Records. The River album, although not a commercial success, became a fan favorite, celebrated for its fluid blend of rock, soul, and jazz elements. Reid's career faced obstacles, notably a legal conflict with producer Mickey Most, who attempted to pigeonhole him as a ballad singer. Unable to record or release new material during the legal dispute, Reid focused on live performances. He played at the Isle of Wight Festival and became increasingly influenced by Brazilian music after housing exiled Brazilian musicians Gilberto Gil and Caetano Veloso at his London flat. This cultural immersion left an indelible mark on his musical direction. His albums in the late 1970s, such as Seed of Memory, 1976, produced by Graham Nash, and Rogue Waves, 1979, featured powerful compositions but suffered from poor promotion. Reid then turned to session work in the 1980s and 1990s, contributing vocals and guitar to albums by artists like Don Henley, Jackson Browne, and Bonnie Raitt. In 1991, he returned with The Driver, which included a version of Gimme Some Lovin' that appeared on the soundtrack for the Tom Cruise film Days of Thunder. The 2000s marked a resurgence in Reid's visibility. He performed at the WOMAD Festival in 2002 and began a series of annual UK tours. Venues such as Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club became his favorite haunts, where he regularly performed for devoted audiences. In 2012, the album Live in London captured the essence of these intimate gigs without studio modifications. Reid's band during this era featured some of the finest UK session musicians, and his performances earned him a devoted cult following. His music also found new life in films. Songs like Seed of Memory, To Be Treated Right, and Brave Awakening were used in Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects, while others appeared in Wonderland, Win It All, and Up in the Air. Reid even had a small acting role as a golf caddy in The Greatest Game Ever Played, 2005. His song Dean was also featured in the film The Criminal, which deepened his relationship with producer Chris Johnson, who later became Reid's business advisor and encouraged him back into live performances in the US. Reid remained creatively active in the 2010s, working with artists like Shine and DJ Shadow and collaborating with Alabama 3. His work was revisited by a younger generation of musicians including Jack White, Joe Perry, and Chris Cornell. Perry's 2018 album Switzerland Manifesto featured several tracks co-written and sung by Reid. In 2020, Chris Cornell's posthumous album included a cover of Reid's To Be Treated Right, reaffirming Reid's enduring influence across generations. Despite never becoming a household name, Reid's songs have been covered by artists across genres: The Hollies, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Marianne Faithfull, Cheap Trick, and Rumor, to name just a few. His composition Rich Kid Blues was notably reimagined by both Faithfull and the Raconteurs, while his 1960s and 1970s catalog has been lovingly repackaged in compilations like Superlungs and The Other Side of the River. Outside of music, Reid was known to be a deeply private man. While not much is publicly known about his personal relationships or children, those close to him described him as humble, reflective, and passionate about both music and life. His dedication to artistic freedom often took precedence over commercial success, but it earned him the deep respect of peers and fans alike. In 2025, Reid was forced to cancel a planned tour due to ongoing medical treatments. He had been battling cancer and, sadly, his death was announced on August 5, 2025, at the age of 75. Though his passing was met with sorrow, tributes poured in from musicians and fans worldwide, many of whom recognized his profound contributions to rock music. Reid's musical output includes 7 studio albums and 4 live albums. His work was documented in the 2016 feature-length documentary Superlungs, a testament to a career that, while never conventional, left an unforgettable mark on music history. At the time of his passing, Terry Reid's estimated net worth was around $3 million. This wealth came from decades of music sales, touring, licensing deals, and film placements. Though he may not have reached the commercial heights of the artists he influenced, Reid's legacy as a gifted vocalist, a generous collaborator, and an artist who always followed his muse remains solidified in rock history. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and kindly subscribe for more videos like this.